Hello, how's everybody? This is Tina again. I got attacked last night by evil entities. I'm gonna tell you about, I've been having dreams, you guys, and I know that, oh my goodness, like, okay, okay, let me tell you about my dream. This video I'm gonna talk about a sleeping paralysis, okay? And I once and occasionally have sleeping paralysis, and I know what the cause of sleeping paralysis is, okay? So basically, I was sleeping in the dream. It was really, really weird, you know what I mean? I was like, I had a child, he was going to class. I was able to fly and just fly so low. I was flying so low. Like I was God's, like detective, like very solo. So I was doing like undercover kind of situation. So I won't get caught, you know what I mean? So what happened was I was basically showing off my skills and this and that, and I don't know. I was showing off that I was able to fly and I was able to do like snap a finger type of magic. It was almost like witchcraft. I don't know if it was me or whatever, but I was like, I don't know if I was doing witchcraft or I was exposing witchcraft. It was definitely a witchcraft type of dream. And then this whole world was had like these type of posters or things in this world that's demonic, and every time when I snap the finger like that, I point to that item becomes a real spirit, an evil entity spirit, and I was exposing the spirit, like how I was telling you, makeup, jewelry, smoking, all that. People that don't think it's a sin, that is a sin. That is, you know, every sin, every demon is in charge of a specific sin, like a spirit of lust, a spirit of anger, a spirit of this, a spirit of strife. There's all sorts of spirits, you know what I mean, and they're in charge in specific tasks, and they're best at doing those specific tasks. Like the spirit of lust, his field is about lust. He is equipped with skills and techniques to have people to lust, okay? Or a spirit of anger. He knows how to say it to cause you to get anger and strife. Each sin has a spirit that is specialized in that specific sin. And I was exposing items like this is a sin, I was telling makeup, jewelry. I was exposing that is sin, and each one of them is demonic entity, and I would snap my finger and that thing came alive. I don't know. Okay, these people at the beginning, they don't know that they have it and it's evil. Like there was a poster hanging on the car and I just snapped it and it came alive in the spirit. And I was like, yeah, like what you gonna do about that? You know what I mean? That snap it again means and it was like being hurt and tortured. Like I knew like the power of God was burning them up, but they were a spirit, so they were not able to composed. They were burned, and then it just got their hand back again, because spirit, they don't die, if you guys know that. They don't decompose like our flesh does, but it gets like removed, and it gets back again. You can get another hand again, but you feel the pain over again. And the spirit really hated me. They're like, we're gonna get you, you know. So I was exposing a couple of demons and sin and whatever. I don't know, and how, check out my other video how I was talking about makeup, jewelry, smoking, alcohol, and just a lot of, wearing pants is also, and if you're like an idol of like TV, music, and there's a lot of sins out there. There's the 10 Commandments, there are the 7 deadly sin, and the personal sin in your life, the devil tools. I call them the devil tool to have a sin. Okay, there's all sorts of sin, you guys. This world is definitely the devil territory. So they when I didn't expose them, they were not harmful or nothing. But when I start exposing them, they came after me. And then my child. Okay, my child represent the newbies, the one that I evangelize to, and they're just in the birth. They're just getting to know the Lord Jesus. So they're the newbies. They're just they just walking with Christ. So what happened was, they attacked my son at school, and I guess he called, and he called for backup, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna come save you. But there were so many, I ended up running from them. I shouldn't run away from them. And so I was trying to, like, every time I snap a finger, I got like power or something, you know what I mean? So I was like, I was trying to face this dude, this evil spirit. I would snap my finger like this, and I don't know how come it did not hit him, I would figure it hit him. I realized, I didn't have any power, only the power of God. Okay, only God has power. I don't have any power. I can only expose them. I don't have any power. And so he ended up dodging it, and he took the mirror. So he took my power and he reversed back that to, like, hurt me, to bruise me, so to, like, paralyze me kind of situation. And he told me, I know your tactic, like, you basically, he said, I know your weakness, and so I couldn't use those same tactic on him anymore or something. I don't know, but I'm like, what do you mean my tactic? You mean my weakness, or what does that mean? I don't have any. I wasn't like, anyways. And so he got me paralyzed like this, when I snapped the finger, and he catched that power and threw it kind of back at me. Like, he took the mirror so it can bounce through the mirror and bounce back at me, or something like that. And then I got paralyzed like that. And then he took a stick and he turned it into a big cockroach, this big. And one of my weakness is cockroaches. And that cockroach just crawled up all over my back, and I was freaked out. But when I woke up, I just got the chills like that, like, ew, that's gross. I knew that I just invited. I don't know if I invited, but that bug was on me. It was on my case, okay. And I'm telling you, when I woke up, went to the bathroom, the Lord had, the voice came up and says, you should wake up and start praying, because God knows if I go back to sleep, I would get more attacks or whatever. So I was like, that was just I thought it was just my thought, but I'm like, okay, I forgot that don't take your thought lightly, because a lot of those thoughts are from the Lord, and you think it's from you. God knows that you're going to get attacked, so he's asking you to stay awake and pray to keep those evil entity away. So, man, they drained my soul. Okay, you know how soul can't die, right? They spiritually abuse my soul, okay? I was having a sleeping paralysis, when God tells you to stay awake and pray, you do that, okay? Because he knows something's up, you know what I mean? He would not just have you pray for no reason, you know what I mean? And I thought it was just me going nuts, I'm like, I ain't gonna be praying no 3 o'clock, you know what I mean? What you talking about, you know what I mean? And so, went back to sleep, had a sleeping paralysis. My spirit man was, my flesh was asleep, and my spirit was awake. And I was like, wake up. In the spirit realm, you feel free, alive, vibrant. You see everything better, okay? You hear everything better. Everything becomes real to you in the real, because you right now is not really you. This is not real. It's all fake, okay? This world is fake, okay? And when I was in the spirit realm, I felt how heavy the flesh felt, you know what I mean? Heavy of sleeping, you know what I mean? Where the spirit doesn't really acknowledge that. Like, spirit doesn't know what tired is, and where the flesh, my spirit was like really sleeping, and it was really, but my spirit like can sense how heavy I was in my sleeping. And sloth and lazy is one of the 7 deadly sin. And when you sleep a lot, okay, you're opening the doors to the devil. I don't know if you're sleeping, because I realize every time when I oversleep, I have sleeping paralysis, and that's the bed demon. I call it the bed demon. I've seen it on my bed once. Like, when I was fasting, when you fast, you really see these demons. You really see the spiritual realm super good when you fast, you know what I mean? So, you know, I mean, it wasn't pleasing to me, but I learned a lot when I fast, because you hear God better and you see spiritual realm better. You really see spiritual realm better. I saw this guy, demon. He was a demon. He gave out a demonic vibe, you know. And he was on my bed. And he was like, he was holding me on the bed, like he was like, won't let me go. Like he's like, yeah, sleep more and more, more. Like he is a sleep bed. He will convince you to sleep. He's like, oh, this bed is so comfortable. This feels so good, and he will say everything. There's a sleeping, a lazy demon, okay, and as a bed demon or a lazy demon or a sloth or whatever. And so all those demons came and like attacked me, and then I just woke up. And then after that, I went back to sleep again, and I was like, I was trying to wake up. My spirit man was woke up, but my flesh was still sleeping. But I felt I can sense, my spirit can sense that the flesh is really heavy with sleep, like a death sleep. Okay, it's like a death sleep, like in the Adam and Eve, they don't have to sleep. It was because when they sinned, they had to sleep. You know what I mean? When they sin in the garden, even then, that's when they start sleeping. But when you don't, you know, like in the beginning, they don't have spirit, don't sleep. It's because sleeping was a part of sin. You know what I mean? And you know, after sin, sleeping was introduced, you know. So I felt the death sleep of sin, you know. And it was really hard to explain, but you feel like your flesh was really heavy, and it's like dead sleep, like can't even wake up anymore, you know what I mean? And that's what sin caused you to sleep deadly, like you're in a deep dead sleep. And but your spirit is always a live environment. That's why we got to follow things of the spirit, because God's a spirit, you know what I mean? And if we follow things of the flesh, it's deadly. You see how I was deadly in my sleep, and everything of the flesh is just poison. Okay, it's just trash. Okay, this body needs to be done and over with. That's why there's a resurrection. We need a transformed body. You know, that's where everything happens, because you know we can't have this deadly decomposing thing anymore. You know what I mean? Okay, so when I was having sleeping paralysis, I call on the name of Jesus. I'm like, Jesus, 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 help me. I have faith in him. And I realized you know, when you have a sleeping paralysis, you can do, and well, when I have sleeping paralysis, what I realize is I can do an astral projection, as in I can leave my flesh and my spirit be walking around. And then I would be walking through dimension. There was no time. I was just walking here and there. And I was walking to hell. One time I was walking to hell. Other time I was walking heaven. So every night I have dreams, you guys. Like, what are the chances every night I have dreams? I'm thinking that my spirit walks around and stuff. That's the only way. And it kind of become like a dream, you know, because in the spiritual realm, everything is different, you know, like everything is like imaginary. It's like whatever you married in the spirit realm, everything you imaginary, it just comes to you. That's the spirit realm. Like in heaven, literally. You know, if you imagine something, food just comes there to you. You know, like if you plan to fly, you fly. There's no boundary in the spirit realm, but there's rules from God. There's certain things, you know, to control your mind, because, you know, you know, and so in this, I was all this time I thought I having dreams is actually, you know, it's possibly we are taken into time, taken into things with our spirit, but we think it's just a dream or a vision or whatever. But our spirit person is actually going somewhere, you know what I mean? Because there's no time over there. Like, so just to let you know. But if you are sleeping like this and your spirit is like awake, obviously you can't get back in your body. So what you want to do is you want to get back in the form. Your spirit got to get back in the form where it got out of, like this, you know? Because if your spirit's like this and your body is like this, how can you morph back? You got to get your spirit man back, your hands, relax, and then you can morph back into your body. Just have your spirit go back to sleep. Just like doze off, just doze off, get your spirit, go and sleep and just doze off. But yes, at the end of all this, I saw my guardian angel, 2 angel in fact, was carrying me, and I was like my spirit man was beaten up. It was like literally beaten up, okay? Because I remember I was going under a demonic attacks, and so basically what happened was they were like trying to have me lust and have sex because they know my weakness, and so they bring this all the time. When I oversleep, this is what they bring to attack me, to abuse me, okay? So when my soul is abused, okay, it can be abused even though you think you're enjoying all those lustful thoughts, but it is actually abusing your soul, spiritually harming your soul with the walk with Christ. Does that make sense to you? Like, I was like, I knew that, he's about to present something lustful because he know that was one of my weakness, so he'd bring all the sexy guys and for an occasion, and in thought everything is just like this, and it's much easier to convince me to sin in my dream than in when I'm awake, you know what I mean, because I can detect them right away. But in my dream, their thought and my thought is like together like this, because everything is telepathic. Nothing is hidden. Everything is exposed. Everything is kind of laid on the table. So if you have an opinion or if you have a thought, that person becomes your thought, and that thought becomes the other person's thought. You know what I mean? Because everything is like all blended and mushed together. And I thought it was me, coming up with these thoughts, but it's actually demon was presenting these thoughts to have me to sin. And when you allow when you're allowing yourself to sin, your spirit is getting, physically, spiritually abused, like beaten up. I was like really weak. I still feel weak in the spirit. Okay, and what does this mean? Your oil lamp is like low. They're stealing my oil lamp. Okay, when my man is strong means my oil is strong, because sin makes you vulnerable, weak. So that's what attack is. You think you're enjoying it, but you don't know, okay? Like, you think you're enjoying to curse that person out or doing this, doing that, but you don't know that you're hurting your spiritual soul. You're damaging your spiritual soul, and you don't know it. You think you're just having fun, doing alcohol, doing this, doing all that sin, but your spiritual man is getting physically abused or spiritually abused by the demonic. Like, every time when you're like doing sin or whatever, the demon in the spirit realm is just whipping, and it's just like smashing you with a knife and just killing you, and you don't even see it, because you think, even though you think this is you and you don't feel anything, but your spirit man is feeling it, even though you don't acknowledge it. But your spirit man is getting the beating of its life. And so when you do sin, your spirit man is getting beaten and torn and just very vulnerable. And you're so vulnerable, you can't walk back home. Home is the kingdom of heaven. That faith and that oil with God, God is the one who pumps you back up, gets you strong again. Like, come on, you can do it. Overcome sin. God is the medicine, God is like, he fills back your lamp. So when my spirit man was really weak, I was like running low on oil. You see, I'm running low on energy. That's why I couldn't walk, because I was, spiritually abused. Like, I was attacked, by evil thoughts and whatever. And if I cave into it, means, if I cave into it, if I enjoy it, I'm getting attacked. You know what I mean? If you enjoy sin, you're going to get spiritually attacked. Okay, does that make sense, you guys? If you enjoy sin, your soul is getting attacked right there, and you don't know it. And your walk becomes very, very weak with God, and slowly, you don't want to walk anymore because you're so weak. Your spirit has been beaten. Like, imagine if you get beaten in the flesh right now, you would be too weak and hurt to be walking. And when you're walking, it means you have full energy and in the spirit and walking with Christ, in that narrow way back home. And so that's what it is. And I saw Jesus You know, the host angel pulled me back home, and Jesus was there opening his arms, like, come to me. Come to me, my daughter. I'll make you all better. I'm like, oh, I felt so good. Like, oh, Jesus, I made it home. I made it home before it was too late. I had this much oil left. Just one night, I went from 2/3 oil down to like a lip sips of oil. You know what I mean? Like, dang, that's dangerous. You know, so dang, the demon is really out to kill us and destroy us. I'm not even kidding with you guys. Okay, that's it. Bye.